This year's college football playoff, I believe, will shake up to be one of the best we've ever seen. We've got a stacked group of teams, players, and quarterbacks playing in the playoff this year, and today we're going to watch all 4 games of the first round. Really our first opportunity to watch a lot of these players in full, who hopefully we're going to see in the NFL. Virginia Tech season ended in the last episode in the game above Sports Bowl in Detroit, beating Western Michigan 38-17, a game that we were clearly in control of early. Clyde Poole, in the final game of his collegiate career, had one of his best. 316 yards on 78% completion percentage, and he ran for 200 on the ground and 3 scores. We kind of let him run wild, and I think the biggest thing we learned about Clyde Poole this year is to let him play his game. We tried to turn him into a pocket passer earlier in the year. That's just not who he is, and that's okay. I don't know if his style of play will work in the NFL, but I hope whoever drafts him ultimately tries to utilize him to his strengths. There are certainly a handful of quarterbacks above him in this draft, many of whom we're going to get to watch today, especially for those of you who watch the Browns franchise on Madden 26. A lot of these players, and certainly a lot of these quarterbacks, may very well be in the conversation to become Cleveland Browns. So we're not going to waste any time. We're going to get started. We're going to start at the shoe. 10th seeded Miami, a team Virginia Tech played against earlier in the year, against the reigning national champion, 7th ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. Couple of blue bloods facing off with a matchup against USC in the second round, awaiting the winner. We'll start with Miami, the final at-large team to get a spot. Their signature win came against Alabama, who has as good of a chance as anybody of winning the whole thing. They got blown out by SMU in Week 6 at home. A bad loss, but SMU's great. We played a competitive game with them. We actually had the lead at halftime before Miami really bunkered down in the second half. Lost to Florida State, but won their games at the end of the year. Granted, a little bit close for comfort. I don't think the Canes are playing their best football, and while I do think they have one of the best rosters in the playoff, I think they have the worst quarterback of the playoff teams. Graham Glikowski's not bad, but is he good enough to overcome the other QBs who he'll be playing against? He's got a great group of weapons. Sir Micah Robinson over 6 yards a carry. Nathan Wilson, the most versatile offensive weapon in the country, who I believe will be a first-round pick. Tyre Gully, Joshua Finney, both really good. And then Marquise Maryland, 97 overall, has not had a great year. He's been banged up, but he is healthy today. The offensive line is elite, and the defense is filled with playmakers. 16 sacks for Malik Saylor. KT Stevens is a phenomenal player. And then this secondary, we saw firsthand how good they are. Clyde Poole threw 7 interceptions this year. 3 of them came in the Miami game. And then when we get to Ohio State, ranked number 7. The Buckeyes are kind of in the opposite end of the spectrum as Miami because they did not play well early in the year. Lost to Penn State in Week 7, but I think they've played their best football here in the second half, including a statement win on the road, finally beating the boogeyman in Michigan. They did lose the Big Ten title to USC. Again, no real shade. USC's number 2. They have a first-round bye. It's been an interesting year for quarterback Wambly Mendoza. He's thrown for a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns. Doesn't turn the ball over, but the consistency, I feel like, has not been there compared to some of the other quarterbacks. He misses more throws. Maximilian Pennington leads the backfield, and then at receiver, TK Dicer may very well be the top non-quarterback off the board in this year's draft. That kid looks like a stud. I'm excited to watch redshirt freshman Demir Savage at wide receiver. He could be the top receiver next year. Sipthia Mathis at defensive tackle, I think, is going to be a high pick. I do believe that their weakness could be in the secondary. Their 2 starting corners are both very talented, but they're both freshmen. So I'm curious to see if Graham Glikowski is going to be able to utilize his veteran receivers by picking on the younger players in Ohio State's secondary. If I had to pick, I think I would lean towards the Hurricanes winning this game. I think their roster's a little bit better. I don't trust Graham Glikowski, but I do believe that the team is really good around him, and I think Glikowski is good enough to overcome some of his faults here on the road. Mendoza, short throw, the tight end. Austin Miller does not get the first down. Quick stop through the Miami defense as they get it for their opening drive. Quarterback Graham Glikowski did not play a great game when we played against Miami earlier in the year. He has all day to throw and is intercepted. Amani Hunt, the edge rusher, picks it off for Ohio State, and the Buckeyes get the turnover. Graham Glikowski literally had about 10 seconds to throw the ball. His offensive line was flawless that rep. No excuse to end that play with an interception as Ohio State has it back. Maximilian Pennington fighting for yards with nowhere to go. Miami's defense looking good early as it's 3rd down and 14. Of the teams we played against this year, Miami's defense was definitely the best. Mendoza looks to throw it under pressure, wants it all. He's got Dicer! Touchdown, Ohio State! TK Dicer, the junior, with his 17th receiving touchdown of the year. And the Ohio State Buckeyes strike first. If the Browns do not draft a quarterback with their top pick in the draft, TK Dicer may very well be the choice. So Browns fans, get familiar with this kid because he's a baller. Good response there by Miami. A gain of 25 for the senior wideout, Tyir Ghali, who played a good game against the Hokies earlier in the year. 3rd and 10. Glikowski with a strike. There's a nice throw into the hands of the sophomore tight end, Augusto Duarte. In the red zone now is the Canes. It's Nathan Wilson up the middle. He gets it near the 5. Wilson has primarily played wide receiver this year at Miami, and I think he'll be a wide receiver in the NFL. But he ran for over 1,500 yards last year, so wherever you line him up, he will be a playmaker. Robinson is stuffed behind the line on 3rd and goal. 5 carries, -3 yards so far for Sir Micah Robinson. A great start for the Ohio State run defense as they forced a field goal. Stephen Wagner makes the kick, the sophomore hailing from Miami, Florida, as it's 7-3. Ohio State gets it back, taking advantage of the turnover previously with the big touchdown, a 52-yarder by the All-American TK Dicer, who might be the best player, period, in the country. Maximilian Pennington past the 50, a projected day 3 running back in this year's class, had a very productive redshirt senior season as the lead rusher for Ohio State after sitting behind guys like Quinshon Judkins and Trevion Henderson previously. Again, Pennington, but he has nowhere to go. This time, Miami gets the stop. Malik Saylor leads the way for the defense, one of the most productive defensive players in the nation, as Robinson has it with a spin move. The redshirt sophomore, Sir Micah Robinson, looked at right now as a 3rd-round draft pick. Played last year as a redshirt freshman at Pitt as a rotational back, becomes the full-time starter at Miami, where he has become a star. Robinson to the outside, into the red zone. He gets it past the 15. Ever since the interception and the touchdown by Ohio State, Miami's done a great job of settling in, getting a lot more comfortable on offense. Glikowski's looking better. They're starting to get the run game going with both Sir Micah Robinson and Nathan Wilson. It's not every day you have 2 running backs on the same team projected to go in the top 100 picks. Miami does, and they've used these guys perfectly throughout the year. Glikowski on 3rd and 10, pass is caught, only a gain of 3 out of bounds, and they're going to have to settle for a field goal. Wagner's kick from 28 is up and through, and the lead is within 1. Guys, look at the scoreboard. 6-7. Ohio State has it back. Here's Mendoza, keeps it on the read option. Wambly Mendoza breaks a tackle, still up! Reaches forward past the 50. Mendoza being looked at as a 3rd to 4th round guy in this year's class. With a good playoff run, though, he could certainly push his stock up quite a bit higher. Mendoza on 3rd down, up the middle, it is broken away. Good defense there by Miami as the Hurricanes get it back. On 2nd down, Sir Micah Robinson, another good run. Robinson started slow, but he has really started to heat up. 5 carries, -3 yards early. Over his last 4 runs, he has 62 yards. That one broken away, though. He was looking for Joshua Finney. Ohio State gets the stop in what continues to be overall a defensive battle so far. Some trickery and end around for the All-American Dicer. Holds the ball up mid-play, taunting the defense. That's the exact type of arrogance I want from my wide receiver 1. Browns fans, take notes. This guy could be in Cleveland. As Wambly Mendoza on the option is just shy of the end zone. Miami calls a timeout, and that'll make it a 3rd and goal. Ohio State has it at maybe the half-yard line, if that. It's going to be a pitch to the outside. Pennington cuts in, and he is stopped. Miami makes the play. Why did he cut in? If he just went to the outside, that's a touchdown. Bryce Slater, the senior linebacker, brings him down for a loss, and Ohio State's going to go for it. 4th and goal. Pennington does not get it. Miami with the stop. It's Slater again. KT Stevens, the talented senior there as well. Now, Miami's at the half-yard line. They've got to get out of this as Robinson gets around 5. Certainly, you would rather be backed up in your own end zone with Ohio State not scoring. That's a trade-off you'll gladly take as Finney gets the end around for the first down. With 20 seconds left, I don't know if Miami's going to really try to move the ball or just end the half as Wilson doesn't get much. I think they're just going to run the clock out at this point. Maybe they're going to run one more play as it's Robinson back in at running back. He gets it. So Michael Robinson with a juke move gets the first solid run. And that'll wrap up the first half. The Buckeyes lead 7-6. Both defenses have been terrific so far. I mean, we saw how good firsthand Miami's defense is, especially the secondary. Other than the big touchdown by T.K. Dicer, Ohio State has 20 passing yards through the rest of the game. Both teams have really tried to establish the run. Miami's ran 30 offensive plays, 21 of them on the ground. Ohio State has ran 30 offensive plays. 22 of them are rushes. I don't think both quarterbacks have been bad by any stretch. Mendoza, 6 of 8, 72 yards and a score. Glikowski has been worse, 5 of 9, 63 yards with the interception. I think Ohio State needs to give T.K. Dicer the ball more. He only has 2 touches, the 52-yard receiving score, and then the jet sweep. As for Miami, I think they should keep trying to run the ball. That's been their team's strength throughout the entire year. Keep leaning on Robinson and Wilson, the 2 best players on the team. As the Buckeyes are in the backfield with the sack. Ohio State sending the blitz is Zaire Lucas, the sophomore linebacker, leads the way for Ohio State. On third down, Miami's just going to run the ball, and Wilson gets nothing. That kind of shows the lack of trust they have right now in Glikowski to run the ball on 3rd and long, waving the white flag for the drive. Mendoza incomplete, another stop for Miami. Both defenses picking up right where they left off from the end of the first half. Nathan Wilson with a big run up the middle past the 40. I think he's going to excel as a slot receiver in the NFL because, as you can see, as a runner, he's just so dangerous with the ball in his hands. He knows how to make guys miss and find rushing lanes. As Glikowski's tripped up on 3rd down, yet another stop for Ohio State. Halfway through the 3rd, not much has changed offensively as Max Pennington gets it to the outside, tackled at the 50 by Colson Clay, one of the 3 Miami defenders who picked off Clyde Poole earlier in the year. 3rd and 2 now. Looks like it's play action. Pennington going backwards. KT Stevens is the one with the TFL. I think with his football instincts, that young man at linebacker could easily be a high pick this year despite being undersized. What the blitz, another Ohio State sack. Peyton Smith, the junior safety, makes the play. Miami has to punt it again. Ohio State has it back. Mendoza steps up, looks to run. Wombly, Mendoza with the first. There's an explosive play for the Buckeyes. Mendoza, a 2-year starter at Ball State, was one of the top players in the transfer portal this year, going to Ohio State, and the increase in competition has not proven to really affect him. He has been one of the best quarterbacks in the country as he slides for a gain of around 4, and that'll wrap up the 3rd. No score change. Ohio State still leads at 7-6, but for the first time in a while, it seems like we actually have a pretty solid offensive drive. The Buckeyes starting to march down the field. They have it in the red zone. Both teams still under 100 yards passing, even though neither quarterback has been that bad. Mendoza especially, I think, has played a good game as he gets Dicer with the first down. Just his 2nd catch of the game, but it comes at a big spot. 1st and goal. Ohio State looking to add to the lead. Pennington, he's in. Maxwell Pennington has struggled in short yardage situations today, but that time he waltzes in for a score, and it's 14-6. Now the pressure's starting to come alive a little bit for Miami. On 3rd and 1, Ohio State stuffs Robinson for a loss. The Buckeye defense makes another play. They'll get it back on offense. Pennington gets the first down. And if Ohio State gets in a field goal range, that could be bad news bears for Miami because even just a field goal makes it a 2-score lead. With 7 to go, Wombly Mendoza on the option. He's been really good as a runner. Mendoza gets it to around the 20. Mendoza's not necessarily a statue, but I did not know he had these kind of wheels. 2nd and 1, they'll go right back to the option. Mendoza, another first down as he's wrapped up inside the 5. Ohio State's getting close, and they're chipping away at this clock. 2nd and goal, Pennington loses yardage, The Miami front continues to play well, especially near the goal line. 3rd and goal at the 4 for Ohio State. They'll go back with Pennington, and he gets maybe a yard. Got to imagine Ohio State's going to... Oh, they're going for it. Is Ryan Day out of his mind? A field goal makes it a 2-score lead. What are they thinking? Mendoza looks to throw it. End zone. Touchdown! Ohio State scores. It's Austin Miller, the sophomore tight end. I still think that was a really stupid decision by Ryan Day to go for it because a field goal makes it a 2-score lead. Yes, I get it worked in hindsight, but I really fail to see the thought process there. Now Miami's got to be hitting the panic button, though. They have really tried to run the ball, which, again, is their strength. They're going to continue to do so as Robinson gets the first down, but now they're going to have to air it out. And even late in the game, the lack of passing shows the lack of trust they have right now in Glikowski. 2nd down. He'll go short for Robinson as that brings us to a pivotal 3rd down. It seems like the training wheels are on for Graham Glikowski. And given that they're down by 15, I feel like at this point they have no choice but to unleash him to the wolves. They clearly have not wanted to, but now they don't have a choice. Glikowski down the field. It's caught! Joshua Finney inside the 25. See, this is what happens when you trust your quarterback. Up the middle, Wilson dives into the end zone for a touchdown. Finally, when Miami has a sense of urgency and they look to air it out, it works. Nathan Wilson with the score, and it is a 1-possession ball game. Credit to the senior Wilson for putting his body on the line. He could have easily been down short of the end zone. Keep in mind, this is a guy who's about to make millions of dollars. He's a potential first-round pick in the NFL, but no, he's still giving it all he got. Miami will go for the regular kickoff. They trust their defense here with less than 2 minutes to go. It's a risky decision, but I kind of get it. I think they've done a good job in design run situations. When it's a rushing down, they've stopped the run. So far, so good, but they've got to get a stop here on 3rd and 6. Mendoza, play action, looks to throw it. It is broken up! The Canes keep it alive! And now Miami has a chance to tie it. Trailing by 8 with 1.5 minutes to go. Glikowski on 1st down. His pass is caught. Marquise Maryland. We have not called his name much today. Maryland was a superstar as a freshman, has not been the same over the last 2 years. With just 1 minute to go, high pass for Wilson is caught, but Ohio State gets the stop, leading to a 4th and 3. The Canes obviously have to go for it. With the game and their season on the line, under 1 minute to go, Glikowski looks to throw it, and it's caught inside the 40-yard line for the 1st down, and the chains move for the Hurricanes. Down to 40 seconds. Glikowski, clean pocket, goes short. Nathan Wilson with blocks inside the 15. Wilson with a big gain, and Miami is in business. They use their final timeout with 34 seconds left at the 13-yard line. The door for them is wide open. They're going to run the ball, interestingly. Robinson gets around 8. I guess with 30 seconds, when you're this close, you don't really have to worry about the clock. But in that case, why do they look like they're going to spike it? They have enough time to run 3 plays. Why? Mario Cristobal, who's made his fair share of coaching blunders in big games, I think just made another one. 3rd and 2. Graham Glikowski looks to throw it. Glikowski under pressure, and he gets rid of it. Good job to avoid the sack because the clock would have kept going. They wouldn't have time to figure out a play, and it would have pushed them back 5 yards. 4th down and 2. The season on the line. Glikowski looks to throw it. Glikowski has time, goes short. Wilson drops it! Peyton Smith breaks up the pass, and Ohio State's going to win. Although they're going to run another play, which I don't really get, because they could just kneel out the clock. Pennington gets a yard or 2. Now that should do it. The Buckeyes over Miami, 21-13. We'll be getting a Big Ten title game rematch in the 2nd round between Ohio State and USC. A defensive battle led by an efficient performance from Ohio State quarterback Wambly Mendoza, who wins the player of the game, leading Ohio State to victory. After 3 quarters, this game was 7-6. Both offenses finally woke up in the 4th quarter. For Miami, though, it was too little too late, and that 4th down drop on the final play by Nathan Wilson is what cost them. Nathan Wilson, I believe, has been arguably their best player this year. They trusted their superstar to make a play with the game on the line, and unfortunately for them, he didn't deliver. And sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles. I feel like the real mistake, though, early on in that drive was when Miami clocked it with 30 seconds left. Why'd they do that? Mendoza, 12 of 16, 125 and 2 scores. Not a lot of yards for his standards. Ohio State changed the game plan. They ran the ball a lot more. I think next week they need to go back to the pass-first style. Although I will say Mendoza was really effective on the option. He had 107 yards. Pennington had 118 through the air. Very balanced. Dicer, 3 catches, 68 yards and a touchdown. He needs more than 4 touches. That's not enough. He's the best playmaker, I believe, in the country. And then defensively, Ohio State was phenomenal, making play after play after play. Graham Glikowski was not very good for 3 quarters. I thought he played really well, though, in the fourth. When the chips were on the line and the lights were the brightest, he was his best. I would certainly expect Glikowski to be back next year at Miami. He's not an NFL player yet, but I also see no reason for him to enter the portal. Both of these running backs looked like the real deal. Sir Micah Robinson, 6 yards a pop. Wilson averaged 7, along with 4 catches, 41 yards and a score. But he also had the pivotal drop at the end of the game. Finney was solid. Maryland was quiet. I believe he should enter the transfer portal. He's a really talented player, and Miami's just kind of gone away from him over the last couple of years. I think he could be one of the most sought-after players in the portal. Their defense was overall pretty good on a play-by-play basis. They didn't have enough big plays, no sacks, no turnovers, but Ohio State only scored 21. Next up, we're headed to Knoxville, old Rocky Top. As the Tennessee Volunteers, the number 6 seed, coming in at 11-2, are facing off against the Group of 5 representative of the playoff, the University of South Florida. Of all the series I've done with the 12-team playoff, I believe USF is one of the best Group of 5 teams that we've seen. The number 1 scoring offense in college football. They did allow 61 earlier in the year to Auburn. They beat Cal, another Power 5 team. And then look at all the points. 48 against ECU, 45, 54. They lost by 6 against a great Arizona State team. 44, 45, 59, 45, 63. And then only 31 in the conference championship, which is still solid, but for their standards is pretty low. Josh Scarborough has become one of the best quarterbacks in the country. 4,747 yards and 47 touchdowns. The real stars of the show, though, are the receivers. Jalen Davies Landiner, second place for the Heisman Trophy, nearly 700 yards, a potential top 100 draft pick. Him and Marcus Blower, who could also get picked this year, are special. My question, for one thing, is what is their defense going to look like? Their defense has struggled against Group of 5 teams this year. Now they have to play against Tennessee, who went 11-2. They beat Clemson. They nearly beat Ole Miss on the road. They beat Texas. They blew out Missouri. They blew out Vanderbilt. And then in the SEC title game, they lost to Georgia by only 3. Their 2 losses, both against playoff teams, are by just 5 combined points. Now, they haven't really beaten anyone that great. Maybe Clemson all the way back in week 1. The 2 really good teams they played against, they lost. But they lost super close on the road because the SEC title game's in Atlanta. That's a home game for Georgia. Kamari Fisher, the redshirt junior, leads the way. He's got a great group of weapons. Marcel Merrick is one of the best running backs in the country. Caleb Gassing at wide receiver. I believe he'll be a first-round pick. Devin Upshaw, Ralph Tuggle, Antonio Penwell, all very good too. I have no doubt this offense is going to score a lot of points today, but what is the defense going to look like? They're playing against one of the most dynamic offenses in the country. They have a weak pass rush, 4.5 sacks for Tank Renford, who's not even playing today, is the team lead. Their secondary's been really inconsistent this year. So I'm fascinated to see how the USF offense, the number 1 scoring unit in the country, is going to look against Tennessee's defense, which for the number 6 team is a little bit weak. You got to realize, though, on the flip side, Tennessee, talent-wise, I believe has a 99 overall defense. So it could just be that they've played against a lot of really good SEC teams, and maybe USF will not be able to match up in terms of athleticism. Merrick loses a few yards early. Enrique Snowden brings him down. For my prediction in this game, I think Tennessee's a little bit too talented. I think this might be where the road ends for USF, but I did get the first game wrong. As the screen is incomplete, the USF defense forces the early stop, and I'm excited to see these receivers. Number 0, Jalen Davies Landiner, second place for the Heisman, only behind Alabama quarterback Kieran Riddle. Josh Scarborough, the junior, goes short. Already it's Davies Landiner with the spin move. Boy, he looked awfully explosive on that play. I'm very curious to see how his athleticism will match up with SEC defensive backs. And I think Davies Landiner has more to gain in terms of his draft stock than just about any non-quarterback in the playoff, currently being looked at as a day 2 pick. But if he plays really well, I think he could go in the first round. USF does not convert on third down. They'll go for it on 4th and 1. 2 minutes into the game. Zach Jones bounces to the outside, inside the 20. Breaks a tackle inside the 10. A gain of 25 for Jones. USF is obviously known for their passing game, but they've got 2 really solid senior running backs. 3rd and goal. Scarborough lobs it up. 1-on-1. It's caught! Quincy Cavill mosses the corner. And USF is the first to score. Scarborough looking for his biggest receiver and lobs it up and says, "Make a play!" And Quincy Cavill, who's not one of the big names on this offense, comes down with it. This is going to be an uphill battle for USF. They're playing against a team who on paper has a lot more talent, but this is the exact start they needed. A 3-and-out on defense where Tennessee gained negative yardage, and then marching right down the field on offense, just as they've done all year with a touchdown. Short pass is caught past the 50. Breaking tackles, that's Antonio Penwell, the senior, who I believe is really talented, but has had a slightly disappointing season. Merrick to the outside with a first down run. He gets it near the 30. I'm excited to watch more of Merrick. I think he's got an NFL future. The redshirt sophomore hailing from Nashville. Nearing the goal line, pass is caught. It's Caleb Gassing in for a touchdown. Gassing, one of college football's breakout stars this year, and in my opinion, a kid who's probably going to go in the first round. Finds the end zone to tie it for Tennessee. We talked about some of these receivers in the most recent Browns episode, including both Gassing and Davies Landiner. And as I mentioned, I think wide receiver is the biggest need on the Browns, so take note of these receivers because we're going to be heavily watching these guys throughout the game. Scarborough on 2nd down, looking deep, it's caught. Nearing the 45-yard line, a really nice throw into the hands of Jones. Here is Scarborough, winds up, looking for the end zone. We have a flag, tipped and incomplete. We'll see where the penalty is. They're panning it to the offensive line. I have a feeling it's on him. Holding against USF. Tennessee's going to decline it and force the punt. So the second offensive and defensive drives look a lot better for the Vols, although they are starting at the 3-yard line. Merrick up the middle. No worry about a safety. He breaks the tackle. Marcel Merrick down the field. He gets more than 30. Merrick is a player who Virginia Tech actually recruited very hard a couple years ago. We ended up with a different running back in that class by the name of Mark Armstrong, as the pass for Gassing is broken up incomplete. USF with the stop. They'll get it back on offense late in the first quarter. Scarborough on 1st down. Surveys the field, looking deep. It's caught. Past the 50-yard line, already over 100 yards in the opening quarter. That's Marcus Blower with the reception, the number 2 receiver on this offense, as Scarborough gets the first down with the read option, and that'll wrap up the first quarter. So far, both offenses look pretty solid. USF has come to play. They've been the better team through the first quarter so far. The number 1 passing game in the nation has had no issues against an SEC defense in one of the loudest stadiums in the country. I wasn't sure how ready they would look and how much they would struggle with the up-end level of competition, but it's been no issue for Josh Scarborough and company as they convert on the QB sneak to keep the drive going. 2nd and goal, play action, Scarborough, short pass is caught. Jalen Davies Landiner in for a touchdown, and USF regains the lead. Touchdown number 13 on the year for JDL. He doesn't lead the team in receiving touchdowns. It's actually Marcus Blower with 22. Fisher has to throw it away on 3rd down. I'm surprised he got it that far while getting hit. USF has it back. Here's a screen. It's Zach Jones past the 30. 15, 10. Zach Jones is pushed out at the 6. A gain of 53 yards. USF nearing the goal line. Scarborough on 3rd and goal. Pass is caught. Gerard, the tight end, I believe he was in, but there is a flag, and this one will be coming back. A holding call against the USF offensive line. George Zavala, the right guard. So that'll make it a 3rd and goal at the 17. The touchdown taken off the board, and it's going to make it a little bit harder here for the Bulls. The running back in motion. That's the other running back, Tevin Gash. Here's Scarborough looking deep. It is caught, but out of bounds. Jalen Davies-Landiner nearly with his second touchdown of the first half, as that will bring out the field goal unit, looking to make it a double-digit lead. Boogie Royal on to kick. What a name. His field goal is good from 34, and USF is up by 2 possessions. Give the Bulls a ton of credit. Not only have they come to play, but they are looking really good. Tennessee has it back. Fisher looks to throw it. His pass is caught a little bit past the 30. Tennessee's offense has had some good plays, but it looks like they're going to have to keep up. This game might be a track meet with under 7 left in the half. Fisher up the middle. It's intercepted! USF forces the turnover. Kai Abiamiri, the senior safety, with the interception, and USF forces the turnover. It's been all South Florida here in the second quarter. Since the change of quarters, they've outscored Tennessee 10-0. Now they force the turnover. This game is turning from possible upset alert to possible blowout. USF is dominating all of a sudden. Who could have seen this coming? I knew these guys were good. Did not know they were this good. Inside of the 20, Jalen Davies-Landiner. He has been exceptional in the first half. There's a reason why he was in second for the Heisman. Scarborough bounces away from pressure. He's still up. Scarborough somehow not only avoids the sack, but gets a solid gain. And USF's going to go for it here on 4th and 3. I love the call here. Field goal keeps it as a 2-score game. Scarborough pass is caught. The tight end, Zach Gerard, to the 1. USF is about to make it a 3-score game in the first half. Are you kidding me? Scarborough, Gerard again, touchdown! And the Bulls lead it 24-7. You could argue Tennessee was one of the 5 best teams in college football this year. They are getting smacked in their own building by USF. Point after try is blocked. Finally, something goes the way of the Vols. They needed a big play badly. It's Quincy O'Halette with the block kick, and that play is huge because it keeps it as a 2-score lead. Fisher, first play at the drive. He's picked off again! Kai Abiamiri! Back-to-back defensive plays where the senior safety gets an interception. What is happening? USF is running these guys off the field in the first half. Kamari Fisher, back-to-back plays where he gets intercepted. The lights look awfully bright for Kamari Fisher. I cannot say the same for USF. Their offense has played just as good as normal against Tennessee. Davies-Landiner makes it 1st and goal. Short throw, caught, Gerard. Not quite in. USF is going to kick on 4th and goal. I kind of get it, given that a field goal here does make it a 3-score deficit. 18-yarder, Boogie Royal misses it! That's as short of the field goal as it gets, and he blatantly missed it. USF has been dominant on offense. They've been dominant on defense, but their special teams is keeping Tennessee in the game. Football has 3 phases, and USF special teams could cost them if they don't keep playing this well, as Antonio Penwell gets the first down. Tennessee looking to make it a 1-score game. Fisher intercepted again! That's the 3rd consecutive drive that Kamari Fisher has been picked off. Emmett Roberts, the junior edge rusher, 253 pounds, going into coverage, making the play. What is happening? This is unbelievable. Tennessee's one of the best teams in the country. They're one of the best offenses in the country. USF's defense is bad, yet they have 7 points. The Bulls nearing the end zone. Scarborough looks to throw it. End zone, touchdown! Jalen Davies-Landiner, 2nd score of the first half, and it's going to be a 30-7 lead for USF. This is absolutely unbelievable. I knew USF was good. I did not see this coming. Fisher picked off again to end the first half on the Hail Mary by Nick McNabb. It's only right. 30-7 at the break. I figured there was a chance of a blowout. Did not think this is how the blowout would be going. USF's high-powered offense, who averages over 45 points per game, has had no issue against Tennessee. Their defense, however, has been unstoppable. Kamari Fisher has been picked off 4 times. 9 of 19, 100 yards, 1 touchdown, and 4 interceptions. Caleb Gassing's been good, 4 catches, 41 yards and a score. Marcel Merrick is averaging 8.5 yards a carry, but it hasn't mattered. Josh Scarborough is 27 of 30, that's 90%, 286 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. Jalen Davies-Landiner, 5 catches, 70 yards, 2 scores. Marcus Blower, 8 catches for 70 yards. This talented quarterback and these great receivers have looked the part. Scarborough is sacked. Tennessee needed that one bad. Damian Cormier brings him down. Their defensive line has to wake up. Every facet of the Tennessee defense today has been awful. 3rd down, Scarborough looks to throw it. Now he has all day. Scarborough throws it up. It is broken away, incomplete. He was looking for Blower. Okay, Tennessee gets the stop. Let's see if they can get something going here on offense, trailing by 23. Fisher's last 4 drives have ended with an interception. That one is caught inside the 20-yard line. Caleb Gassing with the reception. Under 5 to go in the 3rd. It's Marcel Merrick. He's going to lose yards. And Tennessee's just going to take the points on 4th down. They haven't scored in a while, so I kind of get it. 26-yarder for Alejandro Longoria. Looking to make it a 3-score lead. His kick is good, and that will make it 30-10. Still a lot of work to do for Tennessee, but they finally look respectable in the second half. They'll have to keep it going, though. Look at all this room for the running back, Tevin Gash, with a juke move. Gash inside the 40. I think USF's offense and run game is above average for American athletic standards. They've dominated against Tennessee. Scarborough looking for the end zone. Touchdown! Jalen Davies-Landiner. That's his 3rd of the game, a hat trick. And that'll make it 37-10. Tennessee decided to put a double team on Davies-Landiner, and understandably so. Problem is, both of the corners got cooked. He blew right by him and is in for a touchdown. I wasn't sure how Jalen Davies-Landiner's speed would match up with SEC defensive backs. I think it's fair to say his athleticism is legit. Fisher lobs it up, broken away on 3rd down. He was looking for Ralph Tuggle, and they're going to punt it. I don't like that call. You're down by 27. Davies-Landiner on the screen, outrunning more defensive backs. He's got it inside the 25, past the 20, nearing the 15. Jalen Davies-Landiner is the fastest, most dynamic offensive player on the field. It's been the case all year, and that has continued today. Good run. Not quite enough for the 1st down, though, by Jones, and that'll wrap up the 3rd quarter. Much of the same for USF. They are up 37-10. These guys can absolutely contend for the national championship, if that was not clear already. They are dominating Tennessee in Knoxville. Tennessee lost on the road to Ole Miss by 2. They lost to the playoff favorites, Georgia, on the road by 3. Yet USF has completely snatched their chain here at home. Read option touchdown for Scarborough, his 6th all-purpose touchdown of the game, and that will make it 44-10. I mean, where do you go if you're Tennessee? Obviously, they're not going to win the game, but, what does this do for the future of the program? Does Kamari Fisher come back? Fisher for the end zone, it's caught! Tennessee with their first touchdown since early in the 1st quarter. Ralph Tuggle with the score. I don't know if I've ever seen someone so excited to cut the lead down to 27. USF has it back. We'll see if they can potentially break 50. Scarborough, play action. Jalen Davies-Landiner, there he goes, taunts the defense, and he is gone. 10 catches, 220-plus yards, and 4 touchdowns. Jalen Davies-Landiner, remember the name. Welcome to the 1st round of the NFL draft, young man. This guy is by far the best athlete on the field. There is no doubt about it. He belongs on day 1 at the draft. The one question with him was how he would look against athletes that are on his level. Well, as it turns out, there are not athletes on his level. He's just a different breed. Another interception for the defense. It's Felix Ebrod who picks it off. That's 5 for the South Florida defense. Maybe they'll break 60 at this point. Well, they added another field goal. They did not break 60, but they win it 54-17. This is the 4th time this year that they've scored at least 50, and probably the 10th time that they've scored at least 40. Josh Scarborough, 463 passing yards, completed 90% of his throws, 6 passing touchdowns. He added another one on the ground. This was domination from the start. As I said going into this game, I knew USF was good. I knew they were better than a lot of the other group of 5 teams I've seen make playoff runs. I'll tell you what, I definitely did not expect this. Tennessee's been one of the most consistent teams in the country. They just lost by 37 at home to USF. This game has not been in doubt since the second quarter. The score tells you exactly what you need to know. Hell, I don't know if the score does this game enough justice. Not only did USF dominate through the air, but they ran for nearly 200 yards on the ground as well. What does this mean for Kamari Fisher, who had a pretty good year? Yet he was a disaster today. Completely outplayed by Josh Scarborough. 36 of 40, 463, and 6 touchdowns. I don't know if Scarborough has the traits to be an NFL player, but my God, he made all the throws in this game, and he did not miss. This group of weapons was also elite. Both of the running backs played well. Jones averaged 6 yards a carry. Gash averaged 9, while Scarborough had a rushing touchdown. And then Jalen Davies-Landiner. My Lord, is this guy good. 10 catches, 223 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Yeah, Browns fans, you're going to want to take note of this guy. Unfortunately for us, we cannot pick him on day 2 anymore because he will not be on the board in day 2. I think he just cemented himself in the first round. The biggest surprise, though, was the defense. USF had 2 TFLs and no sacks. They were not good at the line of scrimmage, but they had 5 interceptions. Their coverage was phenomenal. Kamari Fisher had his worst game of the year. I don't know how he can play for this team next year. He was good this season, but, like, how does he come back? Merrick was good. Caleb Gassing was good. He certainly did not hurt his stock, and I believe he will end up in the first round as well. The weird thing is Tennessee's offensive line played really well. USF was not in the backfield at all, and that's my one concern with USF going into the second round. They were not that impressive at the line of scrimmage, but everyone on the outside was just so much better. I cannot believe what I just watched. USF 54-17 over Tennessee as we head to Dallas, a rematch of the ACC title game. Stanford and SMU, the rubber match. This is the 3rd time these two teams will have played this year. They split the first 2 games. We'll see who can take the series crown. A couple years ago, Stanford looked like one of the worst teams in college football. And even this year, they started off a little sloppy, losing on the road to Arkansas State. But after that, they bunkered down. They got blown out by SMU on the road. No shade, SMU's pretty awesome. They lost to Notre Dame in a fairly close game. And then playing for their playoff lives, they beat SMU in the ACC title despite an impressive comeback from the Mustangs. The star for this Stanford team is senior quarterback Isaiah Timpf. The lefty, a possible first-round pick in this year's class, currently QB 4 or 5, depending on who you ask. 40 passing touchdowns, along with excellent ability as a rusher. I know the stats don't really show it, but he is the fastest quarterback in this class other than Clyde Poole. At wide receiver, get ready to learn Lonnie Block, buddy. 22 receiving touchdowns for the redshirt sophomore. He is currently projected as a first-rounder. And then defensively, Kyrie Mondo's a really good player. Kofi Uwazurike with 5 interceptions. Jaleel Wingo, the junior corner. As for SMU, these guys have been one of probably the 3 best teams in the country this year. Every great team they've played against, they beat. Beat Clemson, blew out Miami on the road, blew out Stanford, beat Georgia Tech, who's legitimately good, beat NC State, who's legit good. Looked a little sloppy in the ACC title against Stanford, but they'll get another chance. There are not many teams who have a better resume than SMU, and you could argue they should have gotten a first-round bye despite losing the ACC title. 47 touchdowns to just 2 interceptions for Tyree Wells, currently QB 6 in this class as a projected 2nd to 3rd rounder. They've got a good group of weapons. Jonas Judino leads the rushing attack. Out wide, it's very balanced. 6 players have at least 600 yards. SMU does not have a true number 1, but they've got a lot of ballers on this offense. Defensively, Devin Sosa at linebacker, a heat-seeking missile. Cyril Ahmed with 5 interceptions at corner. I think this could end up being a pretty high-scoring game. 2 really good quarterbacks. Isaiah Timpf, a possible first-rounder. Tyree Wells could be a first-rounder if all goes well. Wells is the only underclassman quarterback in this class. Keep in mind, he's not a senior. He's a redshirt junior, so he could always return to school as well. Wells on third down up the middle. It's Raylo Benoit. Past the 30, 25-20, 10-5, touchdown. SMU scores immediately. One of the highest scoring offenses in college football, picking up right where they left off from the end of the regular season. Raylo Benoit puts SMU on the board as it's 7-0. Both of these quarterbacks could easily be candidates for the Browns, so again, pay attention. These two guys could certainly be our long-term signal caller. Stanford has it for the first time today. Isaiah Timpf on third down, looks to throw it. Timpf on the run, it is caught. Nice catch by Lonnie Block. The redshirt sophomore, one of the top receivers in the nation, and one of the top projected receivers in this year's class. I believe he's wide receiver 2 currently, only behind T.K. Dicer of Ohio State. Under pressure, Craig Halterman with the sack on Timpf, forcing a loss of around 4. Timpf, a 4-year starter at Stanford, was not very good those first couple of years, but really turned it around, leading the resurgence for the Cardinal. That ball's out! SMU's got it! Eric Valencia on the safety blitz, rips it away. Kiki Olaseni, the freshman edge rusher, recovers. SMU's popping bottles on the sideline. It's a party in the Big D. We're only 3 minutes into this game, but this has been a picture-perfect start for SMU. The winner of this game, by the way, playing against number 4 seed Alabama and the Heisman Trophy winner, Kieran Riddle. Jonas Judino inside the 10 with a spin move past the 5. Judino, a projected 4th to 5th round pick at running back. He is arguably the best skill position player on this team as he's in for the score, throwing the defender off of him. He's not a big guy, 5'10", 191, but he just launched that defender off of him. 14-0 lead for SMU. The Ponies look pretty good so far. This team definitely is capable of winning the national championship, if that was not already clear. They're at the top of the list of contending teams. As Stanford does not get the first down, they'll have to punt it away. Another stop for the SMU defense. Wells overthrows his target that time. He was looking in the area of Travis Faust as Stanford gets it back. Here's Timpf, looks to scramble. He'll run with it. Fumbles it again, and it rolls out of bounds. Isaiah Timpf's got to be careful with the ball. He's fumbled it twice now. Paul Office, the sophomore, is the one who forces it out. Through one, it's been all Mustangs. 14-0 lead for SMU, but Stanford is starting to move it down the field a little bit early in the second. 3rd down and 5. Timpf goes short. It is caught. And that certainly will not be enough for the first down. Alfonso Allen with the tackle, and that'll bring out the field goal unit for the Cardinal. Tyler Hill, the redshirt senior from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. His kick is no good. He missed it. As if things could not get worse for Stanford, they can. A disastrous start for the Cardinal as SMU gets it back. Already leading 14-0. They can turn this game into a blowout. Wells is rocked in the pocket. Kyrie Mondeau, the defensive captain, certainly the best player on this defense. A hybrid linebacker edge. I could easily see him being a high pick in this year's draft. 3rd and long. Wells looking down the field. Broken away. Good coverage by the defense. He was looking for Parker Zasko, the leading receiver on this offense. A little over 900 yards this year. Stanford gets it back. 3rd and 17. Here is Timpf. Looks to throw it. Up the middle. It's caught. That will go for a first down. Stanford can make it a one-score game. They're still in it, as much as they haven't played good today. Oscar DeSico was the one with the reception. On 3rd down, short throw, quick tackle. The SMU defense right there. The linebacker, Devin Sosa, with the hit on the running back, Tyreek Madden. I'm a little surprised they're kicking it here. Tyler Hill missed a much shorter kick. Okay, touche. He drills it from 48. Stanford's finally on the board with 5 to go in the first half as it's 14-3. Following touchdowns on their first 2 drives, SMU has certainly been shut down since as Jonas Judino hauls it in, drags the Toesies inbounds for a gain of 24. Now a 2nd down and 4 for SMU with 3 to go in the half. Play action. Wells turns around up the middle. He's got Raylo Benoit, who gets nearly 20. Nearing the end zone, Judino punches it in. His 2nd touchdown of the first half. Jonas Judino has really looked the part at running back today, trying to ascend his name into the top 100 picks of this year's draft as it is 21-3. SMU continuing to play some excellent football. It's got to be weird for both of these teams. They just played against each other in their most recent game. Here is Temph looking deep. They need a big play, and they won't get it on third down. The tight end, Carlos Awuza-Sanchez, was triple-teamed. SMU with 41 seconds left in the half. Wells wants it all, looking deep. It is caught! Inside the 5, the gain of 44 for Parker Zasco. And the Mustangs are in business of potentially making it a 4-score game. First and goal. Travis Faust in motion. Gets the pitch on the jet sweep. He's in. 28-3 lead for SMU. It has been a disastrous first half for Stanford. The wheels have completely fallen off. They're just running the ball at this point. And hey, look at this. Big play on the ground. Salen Dotley, the running back, gets 28. He's been really efficient. 6 carries, 70 yards. With 7 seconds left, that one is broken up. 4th and 4 of 6 seconds. Yeah, they might as well go for it as long as this play lasts longer than 6 seconds and SMU doesn't have a chance with the ball. Temph scrambles on the run. Incomplete. That'll wrap up the first half. 28-3. SMU dominating the Stanford Cardinal. This game has not even been close. SMU, in my opinion, has been one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the country this year at minimum. And today they have definitely backed that up. Despite a rough showing in the ACC title game, they have clapped back against the team who just beat them in that game. It's been a rough showing for Stanford. Isaiah Temph has been kind of efficient. He's 15 of 20, but he has under 100 yards. He hasn't been able to push the ball down the field at all. But if we go back to the Kansas series during, I'm pretty sure the final season, they were down in one game by like 25 going into the 4th against Notre Dame and won. And Stanford wasn't even good that year. So I guess you can't rule them out now that they are good. As Temph is sacked, Devin Sosa blows up the play. And SMU forces a 3-and-out. Tyree Wells was very effective in the first half for the Mustangs, and just as he has throughout the entire year, spreading the ball around for everyone. Running back Jonas Judino in particular has certainly caught the eyes of NFL evaluators as Stanford is in the backfield with the sack. It's Kai Tabor who brings him down. Both pass rushes looking really impressive in this game as Stanford will get the ball back. You know, there's still like 18 and a half minutes left. Isaiah Temph is a really good quarterback. Lonnie Block is a really good receiver as he pitches it for Salen Dotley. Juke move to around the 50. It's a shame they haven't given Dotley the ball more. He's been really effective. 7 carries, 91 yards now. Temph has time. No one's open. He'll go short for Dotley, who breaks the tackle. Inside the 10. What a play after the catch by Salen Dotley, the sophomore running back. Certainly making some fans of NFL evaluators, I would guess. He's had a great game. Temph, end zone, touchdown! Stanford back on the board. Andrew Oliveira, the sophomore, who was also really good this year. He had over 1,000 yards himself. Lonnie Block is the big name, but Oliveira is also a baller. Short throw for P.J. McCarley with a juke move. Kind of the Swiss Army knife of this SMU offense as he gets the first down. SMU still up by 3 scores. Yeah, they just allowed a touchdown for the first time all day, but they're certainly in control as Wells keeps it on the option. Tyree Wells gets over 20. Wells is not necessarily a mobile quarterback. He can move a little bit, but is at his best in the pocket. He's very old school. Judino in the end zone, his 3rd touchdown of the game, and it's 35-10. The Mustangs are rolling. They may not have the high-end first-rounders that some of these other teams got, but they are so loaded and so deep with talent, especially on offense. Their defense has been good, too. They're averaging more than 3 yards per play over Stanford. As that brings us into the 4th, 35-10 lead for SMU. They are in clear control. Salen Dotley loses a yard on 3rd down, and yeah, you're down by 25. They might as well go for it here on 4th and 14. Temph in empty, looks to throw it. Temph sails it down the field, one-on-one. It's caught! Lonnie Block bobbles it in and takes a shot to the turf. I don't know how he held on to that one. Block has been awfully quiet tonight, but he makes a huge catch there. Timp for the end zone. It's caught. Andrew Oliveira, his second touchdown of the game. Stanford's passing attack is really starting to get rolling. It might be a case of too little, too late, but these receivers are really starting to make some plays over these last couple of drives. SMU chewing some clock. Wells inside the 20 on the option. Very efficient possession for the Mustangs. Running the ball. They're taking time off. They've burned over 4 minutes at this point. As Jonas Giudino finishes it off with a touchdown. His fourth of the game. And it's 42-17. Have yourself a night. Jonas Giudino. This kid has been extremely impressive. Stanford's moving the ball a little bit. Now there's only 40 seconds left. As on second down, short throw caught for Dotley. He's been a yards after catch monster today. Double-digit receptions in this one for Dotley, as it is a 3rd and 1 with 10 seconds to go. This could be the final play for Stanford and Isaiah Timp, as it's caught by the tight end Carlos Awuza-Sanchez. And that will do it. SMU will get a date with Alabama in the second round of the playoff. A huge performance from Tyree Wells in the offense in a 42-17 win. Jonas Giudino with 4 rushing touchdowns on the ground for the Mustangs. These guys win in every which way offensively, with the ground, the short passing game, the intermediate game, the deep game, and they used all of it today in their win over Stanford. Very impressive season from the Cardinal, who were not supposed to be a playoff team. The fact that they even got here is kind of a miracle to begin with. But where do they go with Isaiah Timp and probably Lonnie Block going to the NFL? They have to start from scratch over again. Nonetheless, a really good showing from SMU, who again has as good of a shot as anyone to win the national title. Tyree Wells, 18 of 26, 269 and 2 scores. Very efficient and effective game from the redshirt junior. Giudino on the ground was great. Wells even had some good rushes as well, averaging over 4 yards a carry himself, and that was even with getting sacked 4 or 5 times. Spreading the wealth, again, nobody had more than 4 catches, although Raylo Benway had over 100 yards, and then defensively, really solid. Paul Office, 16 tackles, 6 for a loss, 2 sacks for Damon Cummins, 1 for Devin Sosa. With his size and explosiveness, it's hard to potentially keep him out of being a top pick this year. And then for Stanford, Isaiah Timp was fine. He didn't push the ball down the field enough, I will say. But he could have been worse, although he did fumble it 3 times. That's not ideal. They should have ran the ball more. Salen Dotley was really good. He just only happened to get 11 carries. He did catch 12 passes, though, for 62 yards, 92 of which came after the catch. Oliveira scored 2 touchdowns, but also had 3 drops. Lonnie Block only had 3 catches. He had some really good ones. But SMU held him in check for the most part. And then defensively, Stanford was pretty blah. Kyrie Mondo had 2 sacks, but otherwise, the run defense was not great. The pass rush was not great. So with that, we've got 1 more to go, saving the best for last in prime time. We're headed to South Bend, Indiana. 8th-seeded Notre Dame, 9th-seeded Ole Miss. Browns fans, pay attention, because these 2 quarterbacks are both likely to go in the top 5 of this year's draft and may very well be the franchise quarterback in Cleveland. We'll start with Ole Miss, who went 10-2. They lost earlier in the year to Texas in a high-scoring game, although they kind of struggled earlier in the year in non-conference play, only winning by 10 against UAB in Louisiana, but then they really got going. They beat Tennessee, blew out Auburn, beat Vanderbilt. They did lose to Alabama, but they got back at Mississippi State, and that was with Zarius Stone missing most of that game with an injury. Stone has had over 3 weeks to recover now. He's good to go. No limitations. He will play. What intrigues me most about Stone's game is the lack of negative plays. He's only been intercepted twice, and get this, he's only been sacked twice through 12 games. On the ground, Cedric Carter lives in the end zone, 28 rushing touchdowns. That is a lot. Leads all of college football. Through the air, they've got a multitude of weapons. George Garcia, Quintavion Burdett, Matt Rayburn, all really solid. And then this offensive line. They've allowed 2 sacks. I think a lot of it is that Zarius Stone is just so good under pressure, but obviously the offensive line deserves their flowers. Amari Ojeda leads the way with 8.5 sacks, and then they've got some really good players in the secondary. As for Notre Dame, they're the 8th seed, but I don't think they're the 8th best team in the country. I think you could argue them as high as like 2nd or 3rd. These guys are really good. Beat Clemson on the road, lost to USC, and Brendan Holloway had some rough games towards the middle of the year, but they blew out Louisville on the road, they blew out NC State, and then they beat Stanford in a game where the winner basically goes to the playoff and the loser is not really sitting pretty. Brendan Holloway, the senior, leads the way. The question with him will be the ball security. That's kind of been his area of question over the years with Notre Dame. He's done a better job of it this year while completing 70% of his throws and being one of the best rushing quarterbacks in the nation. Star running back Jaden Williams has only played 4 games this year. He's been dinged up for most of the year and will not play today, so it'll be Keelan Ringo and Amari Blue at running back. The Irish have a great receiver trio along with a really good tight end in Terrence Flowers. The matchup I'm most excited to see, though, is Ole Miss's offensive line against Notre Dame's pass rush. The number 1 pass blocking offensive line in the country against the number 2 sack team in the nation. Gerald Haney is 14. Kason Robertson is 11. Kelvin Pipp has 8. If there's any team who's going to disrupt Zarius Stone in the backfield, it could be Notre Dame. With the winner of this one set to face off against number 1 Georgia in the 2nd round, the Bulldogs look like the most complete team in the country this year, although I can't help but think Georgia got screwed. You could argue Ole Miss and Notre Dame are the 2 best teams playing today. I would probably throw SMU's hat in that ring as well, but other than SMU, none of the teams we've seen today are as good as either of these 2 schools. Georgia got completely hosed by the seedings. Here's Amari Blue, the redshirt freshman to the outside. A quick start for the Irish. Wrapped up inside the 15, but not before gaining 54 yards. Blue and Ringo, the 2 running backs for Notre Dame, although Ringo's a little dinged up himself. He will play, but it will largely be the Amari Blue show. Blue is in for a touchdown, and the redshirt freshman leads Notre Dame right down the field. We didn't have to see a whole lot of Brendan Holloway on that drive, but don't worry, Browns fans, you'll see plenty from these 2 quarterbacks today. Ole Miss with their first drive of the game as it's 3rd and 7. Lane Kiffin's play calls for a lot of switching. Stone goes short. Cedric Carter, first down, gets some space past the 50 and is wrapped up at the 45. Carter is at his best running between the tackles as a short yardage guy, but he's pretty good in space as well. Stone misfires on 3rd down, pass is incomplete. That'll lead to a punt. Notre Dame gets it back. 3rd and 15. Holloway looks to throw it for the sideline. It's hauled in by the sophomore Christian Session. Notre Dame's top 3 running backs and top 5 receivers, all underclassmen, very young group. As Holloway is intercepted, Malachi Cochran's got it for the Rebels as he brings it past the 30. As I mentioned earlier, the decision-making with Brendan Holloway is the one holdup with his game. He's super accurate. He's good as a runner. He's got the arm strength. He's got the size. But he can get a little reckless trying to throw the ball in tight windows. Cochran, the corner, comes up with the ball as Ole Miss gets it back, looking to respond off the turnover, nearing the 50. Zarius Stone, play action, on the run. That pass is caught. We've been waiting for the big Ole Miss play offensively. They finally get it. Matt Rayburn gains 31, the redshirt sophomore. Stone with a flag, lobs it for the end zone, tipped and incomplete. Looking for George Garcia, an FCS transfer who has over 1,300 yards this year. Holding on the offense against Jared Hennigason, the right tackle. Notre Dame's going to accept the penalty. It's a little bit odd because they could have made it a 4th and 7. I still think Ole Miss is in field goal range even if they don't get it here, so I don't really see the point. As the screen is caught, not going to get much. That's Rayburn, and that'll bring out the field goal unit. I guess that's why Notre Dame declined it. Josh Bragg, the junior, on from 45 from the left hash. His kick is up. It is good. And Ole Miss is on the board. They lead 7-3. Notre Dame has it back late in the first. 2 of the most accurate quarterbacks in the country facing off. Holloway on 3rd down has time. Lobs it up. Deep down the field. Double coverage. Incomplete. He was looking for Christian Session, and that'll wrap up the first. So far, both quarterbacks, while not too bad, have been somewhat quiet, especially Holloway, who had the interception. Zarius Stone really started to get some good things going on that last drive, although Ole Miss has not been able to run the ball yet. Cedric Carter had the one nice reception, but hasn't been very good on the ground. Low-scoring start, surprisingly, as we go into the second quarter. Stone throws it up, looking deep. It is dropped. Quintavion Burdett had it in his hands. I still think the throw could have been a little better. Had it been a little bit farther, Burdett could have caught it in stride. Instead, he had to go up for it. It was a catchable ball, but could have been a better throw. Terrence Flowers, the tight end of the 45. The junior, one of the better tight ends in the nation. Fourth on Notre Dame's team in receiving, despite missing 4 games, as Holloway connects nearing the 20 with Go-Go Hillands, the sophomore receiver. Now Holloway's in a groove as he pitches it for Amari Blue, his second touchdown of the game, and Notre Dame adds to the lead. I thought it was going to be the Brendan Holloway show, and yeah, he just had a really good drive, but it's been Amari Blue stealing his thunder. Ole Miss now playing from behind. It's a screen. Quintavion Burdett with the first down, and there he goes inside the 15, wrapped up past the 10. The biggest offensive play for Ole Miss, 77 yards for Burdett, as the Rebels run it into the end zone. That's not Carter, that's the other running back, Ezekiel Banks. Much needed drive for Ole Miss. They make it a one-score game. I'm a little surprised they didn't go to Carter in the red zone. That's like his spot. I mean, he only ran for 28 touchdowns this year, no biggie. So with that, it's 14-10. Now these two offenses are starting to settle in. They started a little bit slow, but are looking a lot more like themselves. Less than 4 to go in the first half. Holloway looking for the sideline, broken away, incomplete. Malachi Cochran, who had the interception earlier, got a hand on it. Ole Miss gets it back, 3rd and 10. Stone hit as he throws. Another screen. Burdett gets nothing. Notre Dame, an impressive end of the drive defensively. What a hit by the cornerback Tobias Ellerby. Irish following the 2-minute warning. Holloway hit as he throws down the field. It's Flowers inside the 10. 8 catches, 107 yards in the first half for Terrence Flowers. What a game. He certainly has been the go-to guy for Holloway, who keeps it on the read option. Superman dives into the end zone for a touchdown, and Notre Dame adds to the lead. It's 21-10. Notre Dame has ran the ball really effectively, even without Jaden Williams. Granted, Williams has been out for most of the year. Another screen. Rayburn with a nice move on 3rd down. Ole Miss has got to open up the playbook. I mean, Zarius Stone can sling it, but this Notre Dame defense is clearly threatening them, hence a lot of these short passes. That'll wrap things up here in the second quarter in South Bend. 21-10 lead for Notre Dame. These two offenses are really good, but I think the difference between these two teams, at least on paper, comes with the defense. Notre Dame is the better defensive team, and it has shown. Zarius Stone only 12 of 20. It's been a lot of short passes, and when he has gone down the field, he's had his fair share of misses. I don't think he's been very impressive. Cedric Carter, 4 carries with just 21 yards. He hasn't gotten the ball a lot. As for Notre Dame, Brendan Holloway's been solid. 17 of 24, 198 yards with a rushing touchdown and an interception. Amari Blue has been the star. 13 carries, 113 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Terrence Flowers, 9 for 116. Big drive for Ole Miss starting the third. They've got to get this guy more involved. Cedric Carter pushed backwards. Carter, a projected late third-rounder, possible top 100 pick, kind of the same range as Sir Micah Robinson of Miami. As Notre Dame gets the sack, their first of the game, it's the defensive tackle, Deion Gaffney. The last thing Ole Miss needs now is for Stone to be under pressure and duress. 2nd and 15 following the sack for Notre Dame. Stone, play action, looks to throw it. He's sacked again. Kason Robertson and Gerald Haney, who combined for 25 sacks this year, bring him down with a penalty. It's a holding on Ole Miss. So who would have thought? Ole Miss allows 2 sacks on back-to-back plays. The entirety of this season, every play before that, they allowed 2 sacks. They just doubled it within the span of a minute. Stone lobs it up on 3rd down. It is caught! Quintavion Burdett! Touchdown, Ole Miss! There's the big play we've been waiting for from the Rebels. We know Zarius Stone has the arm talent to make all the throws. Ole Miss just wasn't letting him. It's been a lot of short passes because Ole Miss has been too afraid of the Notre Dame pass rush. At some point, you've got to take the training wheels off, and they do, but they don't get the two-point conversion as George Garcia drops it. 21-16 following the big touchdown by Burdett. He's had a great game. Oh, my goodness, what a move! The juke by Holloway, who gets it near the 45. Brennan Holloway's not that fast, but he's so smart and instinctive as a runner. Amari blew to the outside past the 40. This kid is really good, and the run blocking continues to impress for Notre Dame. There's a big play for the Ole Miss defense as it's Robert Kamalu, the junior, with the sack. 3rd and 13 now for Notre Dame. Holloway looks to throw it, steps up in the pocket, scrambles with it on the run. He'll go short, and it's not going to be much. Amari blew, wrapped up near the original line of scrimmage. That'll bring out the field goal team. Cesar Vasquez on to kick for the Irish. Looking to make it an 8-point lead. His kick is up. It is good. 24-16 as the 43-yarder splits the uprights. An 8-point lead. Ole Miss gets it back with 3 to go. We finally saw the explosiveness from this offense with the vertical passing game on the last drive. Stone play action. Hit as he throws. Incomplete. That was Gerald Haney in the backfield. Ole Miss's offensive line is starting to wear down. Notre Dame's done a good job in the second half getting after Stone. 3rd down and 17. Holloway misfires, and now both offenses are starting to struggle a little bit again. Ole Miss back with it. Final play of the 3rd. Stone scrambles on the run. It's intercepted. Just the 3rd of the year thrown by Stone as it's picked off by Striker Mose of Notre Dame. That'll wrap up the 3rd quarter. The Irish lead it 24-16. Not a great decision there by Stone. I thought he played a good 3rd quarter, but he tried to do a little too much, which is not Zarius Stone's game at all. He's been the most consistent quarterback in college football this year. That's very unlike him. Early in the 4th, 3rd and 1. They didn't get it. Ole Miss with the stop, and Notre Dame is kicking the field goal. Marcus Freeman, brother, are you okay? If you don't trust your offense, just punt the goddamn ball. Vasquez, long kick. No good. What a surprise. Why would you do that? That's an incredibly dumb decision. Ole Miss gets it back with great field position up by 8. But they're looking at a 3rd and 15 following a penalty. With 4 wide, the Rebels could use another big play here. Stone looks to throw it. He'll go short. It's Garcia who nearly gets the first down, to his credit. At first when Stone threw it, I was thinking, why go short? But he gains 13 yards, and that'll make it a 4th and 2. They'll go for it. Stone on the read option. Gets the first, or did he? That was close. They will give it to him. Stone should have just lowered the shoulder. Made sure he got the yardage, but Ole Miss, understandably, putting the ball in the hands of their best player on 4th down as he keeps the drive going. Stone up the middle with a great throw into traffic. Matt Rayburn hauls it in. Stone has been a lot more accurate in the second half. He's not missing like he did in the first half, which is a very encouraging sign for Ole Miss, even though the pass rush has been better. Stone lobs it up, looking for Burdett. It's broken away in the end zone. Tobias Ellerby got a hand on it. 4th and 5. Ole Miss will go for it again. Despite being in field goal range, they want that touchdown. They want to tie this game. Stone looks to throw it. Incomplete. Notre Dame gets the stop. They'll get it back on offense with 5.5 minutes to go. And now Ole Miss has got to get a stop. 3rd down for the Irish. Holloway has time. Hit as he throws late, and it's incomplete. So Ole Miss does their job. They force a 3 and out. They get it back. Good field position. 4.5 to go. Screen is caught by George Garcia. Wrapped up inside the 25. Very efficient drive here for Ole Miss. Stone on the option. He gets it to around the 10. Stone continuing his excellent second half. 1st and 10. Carter, wide open space. No, he fumbled it! And it's picked up by Notre Dame. Are you kidding? Cedric Carter was inches away from his 29th touchdown of the year, but Tobias Ellerby pops the ball out, and Jaron LaRue recovers. The biggest play of the game so far, the sure-handed Carter fumbles at the goal line. That ball was clearly out. No need for a review. Wow! What a game-changing play by Notre Dame. Blue runs for the first down. Notre Dame officially in chew clock mode. They do not want Ole Miss getting the ball back. If that's how Zarius Stone's collegiate career ends, that would be awfully depressing. It's a jet sweep. Another first down for the Irish. Reaching over to get the yardage is Baxton Wallingford, the fourth, who keeps it moving for Notre Dame. Nearing the 2-minute timeout, 2nd and 1. Amari Blue to the outside, inside the 25, past the 20. Amari Blue is just shy of 200 yards. Notre Dame is possibly a first down away from ending it. Holloway gets hit hard there on 2nd down. Ole Miss uses their final timeout with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left. We're looking at a 3rd and 12. The first down pretty much ends it. We'll see if Notre Dame can finish off the job. Holloway calls out something in the defense. Play action, looks to throw it up the middle. It's caught. First down, Notre Dame. It's hauled in by Micah Cantwell. His first catch of the game comes at a pretty good time. Holloway will kneel out the clock, and that'll do it. Notre Dame hangs on to beat Ole Miss, and they will play number 1 ranked Georgia in the 2nd round. For star quarterback Zarius Stone, his career ends. The final play he was on the field, Cedric Carter fumbled the ball at the goal line. That's just the 2nd fumble of Carter's career, and it could not have come at a worse time. And that ends Zarius Stone's career. He led his team down the field. He did his job. But Carter's fumble cost them the game. Notre Dame chews clock for 4 minutes to win it. I was expecting a shootout in this game, and we didn't really get that. Both defenses, I thought, played really well. Not to say the two quarterbacks were bad, because they definitely were not. And both guys are still very much top 5 picks after this game. I really think it was more so both defenses game planning the game terrifically, especially in the second half. There was only the 1 touchdown by Ole Miss, and there were no points in the 4th quarter. The big difference is that Notre Dame ran the ball really well and Ole Miss did not. But again, very similar statistically for the two quarterbacks. Holloway, 25 of 37, 252 and an interception. He made some really good throws. The interception was pretty bad. He was good on the ground, though, but not as good as Amari Blue. 22 carries, 200 yards for the redshirt freshman. Blue looks like he could be one of the top prospects in all of college football next year. Terrence Flowers, 9 for 116, all of which came in the first half. And then defensively, I thought Notre Dame was terrific. Their defense has been good all year, but today against this offense in particular, 2 sacks is an accomplishment against Ole Miss. They only allowed 2 sacks all year. As for the Rebels, Zarius Stone I don't think was very good in the first half, but he definitely picked it up. 26 of 39, 346, a touchdown and a pick. He was very accurate in the second half, making throws under pressure, which we haven't really gotten to see because he always had time to throw it. Ole Miss didn't run it very well, and I don't know why Carter and Banks had the same amount of carries. Carter was clearly better, minus the fumble, which was the biggest play of the game. Through the air, Rayburn 7 for 94, Burdette 5 for 145. He had some huge plays. Defensively, I thought Ole Miss played pretty well. If you were to tell me going into this game that Holloway would throw for no touchdowns and Notre Dame would only score 24, I would say, congratulations, Ole Miss, you're moving on to the second round. But the offense only scored 16. That's ultimately not going to be enough. So we had some really good games today. This was a lot of fun. What do you say we do it again in the next episode? Of course, the headliner has to be USF, blowing out Tennessee. They, of course, will play against Texas Tech in the second round as Clyde Poole wins the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Love to see it over some deserving candidates like Tyree Wells and Jonas Judino. Overall, it's Jalen Davies-Landiner and Paul Office. Hard to disagree with either of those choices. Those two guys were absolutely awesome. The only other players who played in the playoff who got in were Amari Blue and Tobias Ellerby. With Notre Dame, not a lot of playoff representation otherwise. Let's take a look at our bowl scores across the country through the first slate of games. Oklahoma looking to get revenge on, I guess, life for not making the playoff. They blow out Boise State. San Diego State with a big win. Florida State wins comfortably. Clemson 41-10. Texas keeps it close with Kent State. And then that brings us to the second week of bowl games. All the other non-playoff games are this week, along with, of course, the second round of the college football playoff. Ohio State USC, rematch of the Big Ten title game. USF Texas Tech. Is USF still for real? Notre Dame Georgia. I think those are the two best teams in the country. And then SMU and Alabama. Tyree Wells versus the Heisman Trophy winner Kieran Riddle. That is going to be cinema. You'll have to wait until the next episode, though. I hope you guys enjoyed. This one was a lot of fun. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.